Hello, Rob here, and coming up on R&B Reviews, we get an origin story of how Peter Pan came to Neverland and became the boy that could fly in Pan. Thanks for checking out R&B Reviews. The character of Peter Pan has been around for over 100 years. Originally created by J.M.Barrie, the character has appeared in musicals, plays, movies, books, and TV specials. But what this movie does that the others don't is explain his backstory, or at least a version of it. It starts out with Peter as a baby who's left on the doorstep of an orphanage run by nuns. One night, he and one of his friends break into the Mother Superior's office and finds Peter's file, which contains a letter from his mother that says she loves her son and says they will see each other again, in this world or another. At night, Peter and other boys are kidnapped by pirates led by the evil Blackbeard, played by Hugh Jackman, who uses prisoners as miners. He's befriended by a fellow miner named James Hook, and together with the natives, must stop Blackbeard from destroying Neverland, and Peter must find out who he is and discover his gift of flying. Now, when I saw the trailers for this movie, I admit I wasn't really jumping on the edge of my seat, but I thought, as a sort of prequel, it might be refreshing to the often told Peter Pan story. Often, prequels and sequels, many moviegoers just see it as, the studio just trying to make money off of very well-known properties, especially with their, beloved and, dear, movies and stuff. But I thought, with an older book like Peter Pan, I thought maybe this prequel, might be a good idea. Now, I didn't read or watch reviews until I saw this movie and typed up my notes, but the only thing I heard about it was that the movie didn't do well and critics gave it poor reviews. But after seeing this movie and comparing my opinion to other people's, I didn't think Pan was bad, but it really wasn't exciting either. I think what kept me watching the movie were the special effects. I thought they were very well done and they weren't distracting like they can be in other big budget movies. The production designs are great to look at and the cinematography I thought were really good. And director Joe Wright, he uses very effective camera angles to heighten, or at least try to heighten, the scenes. And some of the performances I thought were terrific too. For example, I really liked Levi Miller as Peter. He's funny, he handles dramatic moments well, and the scenes where Peter is exploring this new world and his expressions are credible. And I thought his acting was really remarkable. And Hugh Jackman gives an enjoyable, showy performance as Blackbeard. And Garret Hudlund, I thought, gave a fine performance as Hook, delivering some sarcastic jabs here and there. But after a while, I kind of found him to be a little bit one note. Everyone's comparing his performance to, Jack Nicholson, Johnny Depp, and all this other stuff. But to me, he kind of reminded me of actor-director John Huston. He was, I can't remember his character's name, Noah Cross, that was his name, Noah Cross in the movie Chinatown. And he also was the voice of Gandalf in the original Hobbit cartoon from 1977. He's like, why the future, Mr. Geddes, the future. Or, I have an adventure of mine for you, Mr. Baggins. Stuff like that. And let's see, Daniel Day-Lewis is another person that people are comparing him to from There'll Be Blood. But other than that, the rest of the cast really didn't impress me all that much. As a matter of fact, the actresses who are playing the nuns play them like caricatures, so we easily have to hate them, but I feel like we didn't get enough, to really delve in and see why we have to, not care about them at all. But I think the issues I had with Pan were more with the plot elements. The movie does feature a lot of elements that are familiar to viewers and doesn't really, in my opinion, do anything fresh. We get the prophecy that Peter has to fulfill and he doubts himself at one point, like in Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings and the Dark Crystal. We also have the use of foreshadowing what characters will be later down the line, like in Wizard of Oz. Like, for example, there's a scene where James Hook is sharpening a hook, to really forcibly show that he will become Captain Hook. And if you didn't know that, then you probably haven't seen or read Peter Pan. Also, the movie mentions elements, but sometimes they just don't go into details like why they are the way things are. Like, for example, the movie features characters chanting "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana. Why? I don't know. The movie doesn't say. The action scenes and chases, with the exception of the climactic one near the end, I kind of found to be underwhelming, and I thought the movie moved so rapidly that I really didn't get connected with Peter or what was going on. I can't recommend Pan as a theater-going experience, but I think it's something you can catch at home. I didn't think it was a horrible movie, but I don't think you should set yourself up for anything spectacular. I think it has elements that should have come together and work, but didn't. I think the visual, special effects, the production design, and some of the performances were good enough to me to kind of recommend it to watch at home, but it's just not really something I would recommend for a theater-going experience. Honestly, I think the era of fantasy movies that we had over 10 years ago with stuff like Harry Potter has gone, and I think that viewers just aren't interested in them as they were in the past. I think they definitely run their course at this point, but you know, that's just me. Alright, well that's my review of Peter Pan, or sorry, Pan. And now I'm going to open the comments to you. Did you perhaps like this movie more than me and maybe even the critics? Do you think I'm being too nice on the movie? Go ahead and post your comments and tell me what you thought. And if you're interested, please visit the main page and look at some other movies that are currently playing in theaters or is available to watch at home on DVDs or streaming. And thank you very much for watching.